Hi, this is Adam Fiore with Chandler Limited. I'm visiting the great folks of Sweetwater today, and I have with me the Chandler Limited RS124 Compressor from our historic Abbey Road Studios product series. This compressor started out its life in really as an Altec 436B in 1959 when EMI and Abbey Road Studios acquired them. They quickly realized that these compressors were not satisfactory for the demands of the studio. They were noisy, they were difficult to control, they were actually intended for industrial usage, telephone systems, and installs and whatnot. And the EMI Abbey Road technical team, Bill Livey, Mike Batchelor, Len Page, 1960, completely gutted those units, started from scratch, and came up with what we know today as the famous and I would say much coveted holy grail compressor, the RS124 Compressor, used on all the Beatles recordings. It came out in 1960, was never available to the public. It was available for Abbey Road Studios, and it was used on virtually all the Beatles records done at Abbey Road. And they were so popular at Abbey Road that they were found in every room. They were used for tracking, they were using them for bus compression, and mixing, mastering, you name it. They were used everywhere. They predated the Fairchilds, more popular than the Fairchild with the Abbey Road engineers. So with that said, these units haven't been around. Nobody's ever been able to duplicate these. There have been schematics floating around over the years. The schematics never told the whole story. In fact, they were inadequate, and anyone trying to create these, it's really from guessing and supposition. They never really got it until now. With our unique relationship with Abbey Road Studios, we had access to not only the original historic units, the three favorite ones still in use at Abbey Road Studios today, the schematics of course, but also the handwritten notes that nobody has ever seen. A lot of stuff in there, and that's what makes these super special. So what we've done, typical Chandler style, is we go ahead and we retain the heart of the beast, the sound true to the original, and because we're able to do things today they couldn't do back then, we're able to reimagine the unit for the needs of the modern studio. And starting with one thing that's very important, the unit is on the rear, there's a switch, it's switchable, 200 ohm or 600 ohm output impedance. 200 ohm would have been Abbey Road, 600 ohm would be for our more modern needs. You have that option, you can switch it. It's XLR input and output on the rear. It is also stereo linkable with a 1/4 inch cable. And it's true old school stereo linkable. If you get two units, you use that cable, it's control voltage, and basically, essentially, you're controlling the units individually from the front. Internal power supply, very, very important. And on the front panel, we've given you, in the standard unit, variable input and output. You can, for an additional fee, get them with stepped input and output control. You can also, for a little bit more, get them not only stepped input and output, but as a matched stepped input output pair. And you know, so you can get it in any which flavor you need there. The features on the unit, starting on the left, we have the balance feature. These tube units over time can become unbalanced, and to balance the tubes, the EMI engineers came up with a brilliant idea, whereas originally with the RS124s, they'd have to pull them from the session. A technical engineer would actually have to open it up, rebalance it, and then the session would continue. They came up with an ingenious method of hitting a little switch, neon bulb would fire, you'd get ticking sound in the speakers, you'd adjust the trim pot until the ticking disappeared, and now your tubes are in balance. You didn't really have to stop the session, only took a few seconds. So we've included that there. The original units were fixed attack. They did not have variable attack. You could only, essentially the Abbey Road engineers wanted X serial number because they knew that was great for bass. That was their plug-in. They would get that serial number always for bass. So we've given you variable attack, there's modern settings, and what's super special here is once we got underway in developing these and we realized the three historic units were very different from each other in many ways, different characteristics, different personalities, we went ahead and decided, you know what, and from the handwritten notes and everything, we've got to include the three favorite historic units all in one definitive RS124 compressor, and that is absolutely what you're getting in this box. On the attack switch, you'll notice that there are three red serial numbers here. These correspond to the three favorite historic units still in use at Abbey Road today, one of which is even in the Recording the Beatles book. Actually, you can see that. And they had recovery, which was their way of saying release, And in between the release settings, they had these red dots, which were the hold feature, and very, very powerful. If you didn't want that sudden onset and hearing the compression when you started a song kick in, they would essentially fast forward to the fast part of the song, get the compressor to trigger, and switch it into hold. The compressor would now be held down pre-compressed. They'd rewind the tape and they'd start again, and it was already compressed to the level they needed. There was no onset. They'd use it for quiet passages, engage it, then go back to their release setting that they needed. Very, very powerful feature. Again, we have variable output, and something super, super special that I've had on here, glowing brightly. It's this cap on the front. This is not a fuse. It says fuse, it's actually a switch, and we call it the super fuse. Very, very powerful. When you flip that, that lights up. It totally changes the compressor. I can't get into the secret sauce, but let's just say it becomes another compressor altogether. Things literally jump out of the speakers. Everything's a lot faster, a lot crazier. There's a lot going on there. Super, super special. And that's something probably a lot of people are going to leave on all the time, whereas some other guys are going to say, no, 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 I want to use it the traditional way. So with that said, and they're incredible units. They are available now, and I encourage you to call your Sweetwater sales engineer today and order one.